Hello, friends. Happy Tuesday. It's time for another episode of Tuesday Live at 5. This is Lena Gersa. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Cambridge, Ontario, Canada. And today I am all about the tropically beautiful Happy Hibiscus Bundle. It's actually an online exclusive bundle by Stampin' Up! Now, this bundle actually came out a couple of months ago. I've had it in my stash for a while, and I only just pulled it out in the last couple of weeks. I know. It's appalling. I should play with my goodies as soon as I get them. The problem is we keep getting new releases of things that bump them down the priority list. And so here I am. It's February and I'm playing with tropical flowers. Appropriate, right? So we are going to make 3 projects today. I'm going to give you some tips for using the bundle, and I'm going to show you a couple other projects that I've made. I've had a lot of fun playing with this bundle. So many possibilities. So if you are joining me today, I can see we've got a few people here from YouTube. Hi, Mia and Judy and Jeannie K. Welcome, welcome. Oh, Jean made it too. Welcome, Jean. If you are joining me on Facebook, please give me a hello so I know you're here. I always like to make sure that I am live on both platforms. So far, I'm only seeing comments coming through from YouTube. So let's just hope that our friends on Facebook. Oh, there's Laura. She found me on Facebook. Okay, we're good. Mia says she's made several cards with the stamps. Okay. All right. Welcome, Laura. Welcome, Charlie. All right. Hi, Joyce. Welcome. I'm going to flip to my desk and show you the bundle. And then I'm going to give you, show you also some new celebration products that were just released today, because this bundle actually qualifies for a celebration freebie here in Canada. So I'm going to show you some new choices that just dropped today. So let me switch to my desk. I should tell you, I'm trying a new audio setup today. Stampin' Up! Gifted us, the top achievers, some options for gifts. And one of the gifts was a content makers bundle that included a ring light and a new microphone. So I'm trying this new external microphone to see if that solves some of my audio issues. There is a rather annoying echo that I'm hearing. I'm hoping you aren't hearing it. If you are, please let me know. And we'll see what we can do. But I'm trying. Audio has been my biggest challenge. With forever, actually. I want to make sure that you can hear me and that it sounds like I'm actually talking to you from the same room rather than, 3,000 miles away. All right, so let's have a look at this bundle. So we have Happy Hibiscus. Stamp set has 2-step stamping images. So this comes all on one stamp. You're going to see that in action on the second card that we're going to make. So this is one stamp that stamps all 3 images, just like there is one die that cuts all 3. Okay, so that is a single stamp, and then there are individual stamps to fill in the line art images. Okay, and then we also have some leaves, 2 sizes of leaves. We've got a little bit of texture, and then some sentiment. So it's a really nice set for if you like florals. And I love hibiscus. I'll tell you a story about my relationship with hibiscus in a little bit. So here are the coordinating dies. So there is our large open die to cut out our 3 blooms, and of course dies to cut each of the leaves. What I love is that this bundle includes some label dies. So we've got this nice long one and then a nice circle. The circle is about, what is it, 1 3/4 inches. So it's got a little bit of sort of, I don't know what you call that. It's not quite stitching, radiating stitches maybe. And then we've got some extra dies, some leaves, and some itty bitty flowers. So we're going to see all of those used, and we're going to play with them. Along with the dies, of course, we have our hybrid embossing folder. So a lot of people are confused by hybrid embossing folders. They can be used all by themselves as embossing folders. Your sandwich, because they are thicker, your sandwich needs to be the same as you would use for a 3D embossing folder. But when you are die cutting with them, essentially you're just going to nestle the coordinating die in the top, the side with the Stampin' Up! Logo. And then you're going to nestle your die and it kind of clicks into place. You're going to put your cardstock in, close, and run through with the same sandwich you would for a 3D embossing folder. Okay. All right. Charlie says no echo. Judy says no echo. That's good. Yeah, Joyce, I can't turn down the volume because my phone even though I've got it on silent, it still plays the sound. That's the frustrating part. So I'm getting an echo from my phone that is showing you my desk. So I can handle it. It's a little bit irritating, but it's not the end of the world. So if it's sounding good to you, that's all that matters, right? All right, so that is our bundle. Now, I mentioned that this bundle qualifies here in Canada for a celebration freebie, and we've just had some new items drop. Now, if you're wondering and thinking, wow, those two must be, I think they're in the mini catalog, you are correct. So the Beautiful Butterfly stamp set and the Natural Botanical stamp set are both stamps from the brand new mini catalog that just launched a month ago, and you can get them free with a $75 order, which is awesome. But I have to say, I think the best bargain or the best item in the new celebration freebies is the Alphabet a la Mode dies. These are large, tall dies. They're about, the letters are almost 2 inches tall and thin. And I have used these a ton. I cannot believe that these are a celebration, and they're only a level 1 freebie. So that is awesome. Couple of great punches, some kits. So lots of new items to choose from when you place a $75 order here in Canada. All right. Okay, let's get this out of the way. I'm going to keep the dies and embossing folder handy because I'm going to show you a couple things as we go. All right. So here we go. Our first card we're going to do is this one. I posted this yesterday. Now this actually uses a sentiment that's not in the hibiscus stamp set. The other ones do, don't worry. But I actually pulled a stamp or a sentiment from the Simply Said. So this is one of our sort of budget, all-purpose stamp sets that's in the annual catalog. And I love that we have sort of a scripty font and a more block font in this set. And it's economically priced. I think it's under $30 here in Canada, which is really reasonable. So great stamp set. If you have missed it, it's one to check out. All right. Yes, Mia, they are great alphabet dies. I 100% agree. All right, so let's put this one together. This is actually a project at my recent card buffet, and I thought I would share it with you because it's a really quick and easy one. So I thought, again, I'm always trying to, I'm trying now to include a quick and easy project on all of my lives for those of us who are maybe newer stampers and don't have all the things. So here we go. We're starting with a piece of basic white cardstock. It's 4 by 5¼ inches, and I've embossed it using the gorgeous Dashing Designs embossing folder. Absolutely love that folder. And then I have two arches actually that I've die cut using the Everyday Arches dies. And this one's cut from old olive cardstock. This one is cut from Delightful Wishes. Floral Delight, I think it's called, is the DSP. You'll notice I used my arch to cut one of my leaves because why waste that space, right? So we're going to go ahead and glue that down on the center of our panel, our embossed panel here. Let's get our seal working. I should probably be using liquid glue, but I grabbed the seal because it was first closest in reach. All right, so we'll get this one somewhat centered. And there we go. And then our smaller arch is actually going to get popped up just to give us a little bit of dimension there. So I've decided, I've been playing around with these arches a lot. I've decided 5 is the appropriate number of dimensions. Dimensionals on these. You need 1 in each corner, if there's such a thing as a corner of an arch, and then 1 in the middle. That's what I have decided. You may disagree, but we can agree to disagree. All right, so there we go. That is our foundation. Now we're going to go ahead and glue that onto a lemon lolly layer. Are you proud of me, Mia? Thank you. This is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8 inches. We're going to go ahead and layer our embossed panel on there. And this time I am going to use some liquid glue just to make sure I get into all those little nooks and crannies. So we'll pop this on. Just like that. And then that is going to get glued onto a thick basic white card base, 4 1/4 by 11 inches, scored at 5 1/2. So we'll fold that in half along our score line. And then we're going to pop this on onto our card base. I've got a new bottle of Tombow. Are you proud of me? I remembered. Okay, I got tired of fighting with the old one. There we go. Okay, so we have our foundation done. Now we're going to play a little bit with these pretty die cut flowers. So these are 2 out of the 3 hibiscus blossoms that can be cut and embossed using the hybrid embossing folder. I've cut and embossed them from Lemon Lolly cardstock. And we're going to do a little bit of ink blending on them. So I'm going to start with a little bit of peach pie. So I'm using my small blending brushes just because I want to have a little bit more control of where my ink goes. And I'm going to start in the middle of the large one. I'm going to come out along the stamen because I want the stamen to be a little bit darker than the rest of the blossom. And then I'm just going to work out from the center a little bit. Okay, so there's one. And then we'll work on the second one. Now this one has these beautifully folded over leaves, and the inking really adds, like, emphasizes the dimension on that one. Hi, Nancy, welcome. Oh, Jill is here. Hello, the gang's all here today. All right, so now we're going to add a little bit of contrast with some Melon Mambo ink. Now, I don't want to use a lot of this, okay? I'm not going to be too heavy-handed because I don't want to completely cover up that peach pie, okay? And just see how when we add that, it almost adds like a coral color because it's layering over top of the peach pie. I love the effect of that. There we go. Just a couple of brushes with the blending brushes and we're done. All right. So now we are going to work on arranging these on the front of our card. So we have our smaller one, our larger one, and then we have our 2 leaves. So I'm going to start actually, but I'm going to glue this one leaf along the bottom edge of my arch here. Right about there. And then we're going to add our smaller hibiscus blossom. Let's just see how high that needs to go. Yeah, that looks pretty good. And then this guy, we're going to tuck in behind this blossom. So again, I'm going to add a little bit of seal and just think about where I want this to go. Probably there. And then again, this is going to get a little bit of seal. So none of these are popped up because you have to remember we popped up our arch, right? So we don't want it to be too poofy. I know I'm infamous for double popping. I am showing some self-control today. All right. Let's go ahead and add our little bitty flowers. So these little bitty flowers are super cute. They can be a little bit fussy to deal with. So the easiest way to add adhesive to these is to just take your roll of glue dots and we're going to press the flowers onto a glue dot to start. There we go. And then I'm just going to take my pokey tool, my take your pick, and we're going to tuck these in and around our hibiscus here. So there's 1 and 2 and 3. And then what I like to do is just kind of bend my petals up a little bit to give them a little bit of dimension. These are die cut right close to the center, so you can easily curl them to get just a little bit of shape, a little bit of a cup shape to your flowers. Of course, they're going to get squished when you put them in the envelope, but it looks pretty until you do so. All right, now the centers of these, did I lose? I think I lost one of my little blingy bits. Actually, I think I have more. I will get some in a sec. So these are the party dots, I think. They're from the Wildflower Birthday Suite. They're actually peach pie, and they work quite nicely as flower centers. Let me just see. I have an extra kit here. I do. Look. There's an extra larger one. Actually, this is the medium size. I think these come in 3 sizes. This is the medium sized. The large is too big for these little flowers. And then our last step is to stamp our sentiment. So we have a label. This is actually cut using the Unbounded Love dies. One of the labels from that. And yes, you also can. These ones I don't feel like need it that much, Mia, in terms of use like burnishing it with the stylus, because they have that die cut right down to the center. They're pretty easy to curl up. So, but you are correct. That is a great way to add dimension to little bitty blossoms. All right, so I'm going to stamp my sentiment in crumb cake ink on my label here. There we go. And then before we stick this on, we're going to add, I have a little bitty baker's twine bow. This is Lemon Lolly baker's twine. So I'm just going to add a glue dot to the bottom right corner, the back side of the bottom right corner of my label. And then just press my bow into that. And then that is going to kind of tuck in behind my flower. I'm going to add a dimensional on the same end that has the bow. And then a little bit of tape where it's going to overlap my popped arch. And we're just going to tuck that in. Just like that. There we go. There's our cute little, isn't that cute card? Super quick. The dies make it absolutely fabulous. And then the last step is to add a little bit of sparkly sparkle, because I don't know, I feel like hibiscus need to sparkle. If you've ever looked really closely at a hibiscus blossom, they do have a little bit of a shimmer to them. Okay, so I'll tell you my hibiscus story. My mom, growing up, had this massive hibiscus plant. Like, it was like a tree. It wasn't a plant, it was a tree. And so she had it in our living room, and she wintered it through every year. She put it outside all summer, and it bloomed its heart out. But it was a double hibiscus. It was absolutely gorgeous. So I've always loved hibiscus blossoms for that reason. So that is my hibiscus story and why I have an affinity for hibiscus. There you go. All right, next card we're going to do, let me pull in, I have a lot of stamps in this one because we're going to do all of our two-step stamping. All right, next one we're going to do is this one. I love the cool tones in this card. So I basically drew my color palette from the DSP. Can anybody guess where this DSP is from? I'll give you a second to see if you can think of it. It's in the annual. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to give you the dimensions. So this piece is 3 3/4 by 5. And we're going to do a little bit of stamping with our, where did I put my, put it in the wrong, nope, I didn't even grab it. I need to grab my smoky slate ink. There we go. Oh, you know what I think I did? I think I used gray granite and stamped off. Isn't it sad when you make a card and then you can't remember what you did? Oh, do they, Terry? They look like the Hawaiian state flower. Okay, that makes me happy. All right, so I'm going to do some stamping on this. And has anybody come up? Nobody's got the name of this one yet. Yeah, Jean, I was going for, you know, let's forget winter for a few minutes and focus on tropical climes. You are right. All right, so we're going to use this little texture stamp from the Happy Hibiscus stamp set and some basic gray ink. We're just going to add little bits of texture to our background DSP, which no one has guessed where it's from yet. I will give you more time as I'm stamping. So I'm basically just inking my stamp, stamping off once, and adding my little bits of texture. Now, this, you don't have to do them all straight. My thing is, when I have, I mean, and this isn't, they're not even straight lines. I just like them all to look the same when I'm doing this kind of a repeating pattern. That's just me. But you could certainly rotate your stamp and get something a little bit more random if you like that look. Okay. All right. That is our background. Oh, I knew Louise would get it. It's Full of Life from the annual catalog. Way to go, Louise. All right. You win the cash prize. No, you don't. There is no cash prize. Okay. So 3 3/4 by 5 were the dimensions on the DSP. So our, what's this called? Berry Burst, that's the color. Berry Burst Matte is 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and layer our DSP on there. There we go. And then that, I shouldn't put my glue away, is going to get layered on a thick basic white. All of my card bases today are basic white. I don't know. I just think these hibiscus really pop against a white card base. So same dimensions as the last card, 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2. So we will add our front panel to our card base. Now I want to make sure my blue is towards the top. I don't know, it makes me think of blue sky. I suppose it could be blue ocean as well. We're talking tropics. All right, so there is my card base. Now, I'm going to show you how to stamp the flowers. So here is, okay, does this ever happen to you? Your photopolymer stamps and blocks get stuck together. So this is the flower outline. Okay, I mentioned that it's one stamp that has all 3 blossoms on it. Okay, so we're going to stamp the outline in Berry Burst. Let me get rid of this basket. It's in my way. So whenever I have a large stamp like this, I like to take my ink to the stamp rather than vice versa. That way I can make sure I'm getting the whole thing inked. And I'm going to stamp it just on a little bit of scrap here. Okay. And then we are going to fill in the blossoms with Petunia Pop. These 2 colors work really well, and they're both in the DSP. So let me find all my stamps here. All right, let's start with the medium one. So I'm going to ink this up. I am going to stamp off because I want it to be quite light. Now, for those of you that struggle with 2-step stamping, this one is fairly easy to line up. I'm taking my time because I can't look right down on it, but they do line up quite easily. They're not like some of our others where you have to kind of have a degree in engineering to figure it out. So here's the large one. And then finally, where's our small one? Here it is. Our little guy. Okay. Sorry about that. Now, we're going to cut and emboss these. So I'm going to show you how to do it. I've actually already cut some, but I'm going to show you how to get these lined up. So I'm going to bring in my embossing folder and my die. I'm going to open up my folder and get my die sort of clicked into the lid there. Okay. Then I'm going to take my cardstock. I'm going to kind of place it there. I'm going to flip it over and then just kind of get those flowers lined up. You can see through the folder, right? So that allows you to get that image aligned, close my folder, and then run it through my machine. Okay. Once you do that, you get, let's dump out all the rest of our bits here. You get these beautifully embossed flowers. Now you probably, here, I'll show you on the back. You can see the embossing. It's harder to see the embossing because they are stamped, obviously, but it really does add a lot. You can probably see it better on here with the raised folded over petals. I just love the look of this, stamped and embossed. I think they're so, so pretty. So that is the blossoms. Then I have already done most of my leaves using my little trick where I die cut the blanks. Remember my little trick? So I'm going to show you, for those who have not seen my little trick. Well, not really my trick. It's just a trick. I can't claim it. So I'm going to start with my large leaf, and I'm going to start with the outline. So I've got my die cut blank leaf here. Okay. And I'm going to ink up my stamp. I'm using Shaded Spruce. I'm going to lay my die cut face down on my stamp, and then I'm just going to take another block and press. And that gives me a perfectly aligned image. So I'm not fussing. I hate little bitty dies like these and trying to line them up and get them and then having them move. It drives me absolutely batty. So this is what I do when I die cut. I know it kind of goes against conventional wisdom, which is always stamp first, then cut. But for me, this has worked so beautifully. I probably will never go back to stamping and then die cutting, if I'm being honest. So there is my small leaf. Okay, quick and easy. And then to fill these in, we of course have the solid image, and we are going to stamp in Shy Shamrock, another color that works really, really well, or two colors. So Shaded Spruce and Shy Shamrock are kind of made for each other. So I'm going to stamp my solid image, stamp off once, and then fill in my leaf. Okay, and then same thing for the small one. Ink, stamp, and stamp off. Okay, super quick and easy way to do that. All right, hi Janet from Alberta. Hi Crystal. Hi Namiji, welcome. It's nice to see your name pop up. All right, so our last thing to stamp is our sentiment, and then we're going to build our focal image. So I have that label die, or sorry, label die cut, I guess. I'm going to stamp congratulations in basic gray. So this sentiment is from the Happy Hibiscus stamp set. So we'll just stamp that on our label. I love that font. It's really, really pretty. And then we get to do some floral arranging. One of my favorite things. So I'm going to start with my largest blossom. So what I tend to do when I'm arranging is go from large to small. I find that easiest. It's kind of the way I do arranging real flowers as well. So I'm going to just run a bunch of seal kind of all over the back of my label, and then I will add more as necessary. So I'm going to start with my large blossom, kind of peeking out. I don't want to cover too much of it. And then we're going to add some leaves. So we're going to add some seal to the back of our large blossom here. And then we're going to play around with adding leaves. So we'll do one here and maybe a little guy up here. Now we'll do a big one. There we go. And then keeping in mind that this needs to fit on the front of our card, so we can't go too far. We'll add this guy here, a little guy here. We need some more adhesive. Make sure that little guy sticks. There we go. And then we're going to add our itty bitty blossom on the opposite end. And then again, a bit more seal. I feel like that's not enough glue to hold that little blossom there. Get a little bit more going. That's better. And we'll add one and two. I think that's probably enough. We probably didn't need these extra leaves. And then this guy is going to kind of tuck in here, and we're just going to kind of see a little bit above and a little bit below. Now I've still got seal there, so we're just going to press that into place. All right, we're going to glue this on, then we'll add our little white blossoms, but I'm just going to make sure, yep, that's going to fit on my card front. So we're going to add a bunch of dimensionals here. This will kind of lock everything together. Make sure nothing falls off our card. I gotta tell you, I had so much fun. I actually Googled different hibiscus blossoms. I wanted to see what color combinations there naturally were. And oh my goodness, it was so much fun. So many pretty flowers. There we go. All right, so now let's add a few of our pretty little white blossoms. I know these have a name. I should know what they are, but never having been to Hawaii, our Maui and center trip here was canceled during COVID. So my once in a lifetime chance to get to Maui didn't happen, but that's okay. A lot of things didn't happen during COVID. So we're going to tuck one little blossom in there, and then another one down here, and then one more. I'm going to kind of tuck in. What am I going to do? Maybe down here, just like that. Okay, and then the centers of my flowers, I'm actually using some of the purple adhesive back sequins, one of the Celebration freebies. I have to say, I can't stop using these. They work with so many of the color palettes that are in the catalog. So many. So I just keep pulling them out. Whoopsie, you are not centered. Let's move you over here. There we go. Done and done. You like that one? Isn't that pretty? No, Deb, these are they're a Hawaiian flower. I've been told they smell really, really sweet. When I was supposed to be going to Maui, one of my friends who has spent a lot of time in Hawaii told me that I would love the scent of these little flowers, and I cannot for the life of me remember what they are called. But someday, when I do check Hawaii off my bucket list, I will remember what they're called. Okay, let me clean up my mess here. I've got so many stamps out, and we're going to move on to number 3. Get this guy out of the way. Oh, that would be gorgeous, Mia. What a great idea. Now I might have to make one of those. That's a great idea. I love that. Okay, our last card, I really wanted to showcase the beautiful embossing folder. So this is our card I posted earlier today. I absolutely love the embossing folder just as an embossing folder. It really, really is stunning. So I'm going to show you how to get this result. It's a lot easier than you might think, thanks to blending brushes. And stamp blocks. Too many. Let's get all of these out. And we need our pie back as well. Okay. I think I have them all. Let's move the glue dots so they're not buried. Okay, so we're going to start. Plumeria, could be Louise. That's ringing a bell. So when you are wanting to get really rich color with your blending brushes without a lot of effort, start with colored cardstock. You'll notice on the first card, I started with yellow cardstock. Here I'm starting with Bubble Bath because that gives me some color already. So I don't have to work as hard to get the first layer of color down, right? So I've got my Bubble Bath, but look how beautiful that embossing folder is. Is that not stunning? So, so pretty. All right, so we are going to layer some color. So I'm going to start with Peach Pie. Oh, and I just put my thumb right in the ink. Oh, that's a good one, Lena. All right, so we're going to come on around the edges, and I want to make sure that I'm kind of hitting the flowers, the large raised flowers as I go. I'm going to get this guy. Because this embossing folder embosses so deeply, it's really easy to hit those flowers without getting the background. It's kind of cool. And it makes this technique really easy to do. I am going to get this one. There we go. And we'll keep coming around. We'll get this big guy. There we go. And then I'm going to do a little bit on these itty bitty flowers to be named later. There we go. Okay, so that's about enough of our peach pie. So we'll get that. Frangipani, I think that's it, Deb. I think you've got it. All right, next we're going to come in with a little bit of Calypso Coral. So this is just going to deepen the layer of orange a little bit. So again, I'm going to focus on the blossoms first, and then I will add a little bit of color around the edges of my embossed panel here. I'm just going to start focusing on the flowers. I love this. This is my favorite flower. I love the folded petals. It's just so pretty. And we're going to get this guy and a little bit of this guy. I'm not hitting the smaller flowers this time. I want them to be a little bit different colored to the large ones. Okay, this needs just a little more up here. There we go. Okay, I am going to come in a little bit around the edges because I do want it to have a little bit more of a coral feel rather than the peach. There we go. And then we are going to come in Okay, Gardenia, Louise. Okay. Look at you all Googling Hawaiian flowers. I love it. Teacher moment. All right, our last step is to add some melon mambo. And this is going, you think it's like way too bright, but it is going to highlight the embossing and just really make these flowers pop. So I'm only hitting my large flowers. I am not going to come around my edges. I'm not going to hit the smaller flowers. I just want to hit my larger flowers here. And I absolutely love the effect of this. Isn't that pretty? So pretty. My husband's standing outside my room talking. I'm not sure why. I'm not sure if you can hear him, but he is. Okay, so there we go. Isn't that gorgeous? Oh, love, love, love. All right. So let's finish putting this one together. Oh, I forgot. We got to do our little die cut as well. So we'll quickly backtrack that. So if you missed all of those steps, here it is again. We're going to start with peach pie. There we go. A little bit more. And then a little bit of Calypso Coral. There we go. And then last but not least, some melon mambo. Now on this die cut one, we're going to kind of come around the outside. And then onto the flower. Just to make the edges pop a little bit from the background. There we go. Okay, so pretty. And it's so fun to play around with different colors and just mix and match color combos. You really can't go wrong. All right, we're going to layer our embossed panel because you know I like my layers. So this again is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. This is Calypso Coral cardstock. So I'm going to use a little bit of liquid glue here to adhere that. Get that on there. And then that is going to go on to again, a white card base. This time it's 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. So we'll fold that one in half. Still a portrait orientation, but more of a book opening than a tint. And we'll just add a little seal here to get this stuck down. Now you need to think about which flowers you want to see. I want to see that large flower, so I'm going to make sure that that is towards the top. There we go. Isn't that embossing folder gorgeous? Namiji, it is stunning. It's absolutely stunning. Heather, this is an online exclusive. Okay, so if you go onto the online store and you search Happy Hibiscus, you will find it. Okay. All right, we're gonna stamp You Make Me Smile once again in basic gray ink as soon as I find it, buried in under all the ink colors. So we're gonna stamp this again in basic gray. There we go. And then a little bit of flower arranging this time, not quite as many blossoms to get arranged. So I'm going to mention my leaves. Do you recognize this DSP? Celebration freebie. So this is the Bloom Impressions DSP. It's that bright multicolored pattern on the back, but it's got this lovely soft green that works beautifully with this color palette. So I'm going to start with a little bit of seal on the back of my label. And we'll adhere our hibiscus blossom. And then we're going to arrange our leaves. Oopsie, got a little glue booger there. We don't need that. So we'll go 1 and 2. And I just love the way this green makes the color of the flower pop. So pretty. And then one more little leaf. Where will we put this guy? I think here. A little bit more seal. There we go, just like that. And then we're going to add some gold twisted thread. I grab my tear and tape. So I have a brand new roll of twisted thread. So this little trick, it's easy to do. So I'm going to just take and pinch the end of the thread between my fingers. And I'm just going to wrap the thread a few times around my 3 fingers. And then I'm going to slide my loops off. And then I'm just going to grab it in the middle. Okay, so I'm going to grab it so that I've got the ends so that they're going to kind of be hidden. Now we're going to need to relax this. I think I might have wrapped it around 4 fingers to make it fit. Let's try that again. I did 3. I think I might have done 4. I did my sample. Yep, that's a better size. So again, I'm going to pinch it where the ends are to make some loops. Then I'm going to take a piece of tear and tape. And we're going to place our loops on the back of our little arrangement here. And I'm just going to stick a piece of tear and tape down to hold it in place. You could use Scotch tape if you wanted to. I've still got a bit of that end showing, which I don't mind, but let's get rid of it just because I was talking about trying to avoid the ends. So we'll trim that off so we don't see it. There we go. That's better. Isn't that pretty? Easy way to use that twisted thread. All right, so now we're going to add some dimensionals to the back of our little arrangement here. And I suppose I could take the backing off the tear and tape if I wanted to, but I don't want that to stick down. So I'm just going to leave it as is. There we go. And then that is going to go on the front of our card. Right about there. I think that's straight-ish. And then again, some little bitty gardenias. We'll press them into our glue dots one last time. And again, pick them up and tuck them in wherever. I think I'm gonna, this guy's too big. I'm gonna put this guy up here, I think. He's gonna go in behind. And then this one, I'm gonna put it up here too, behind this leaf. And then one more down here, just like that. And then my centers on this one are the low profile dots. These are another online exclusive. They are part of the mixed media florals, I think the suite is called. I featured it a couple of weeks ago. These are great dots because they are very, very flat. They live true to their name and they're great for mailing, right? You don't have to worry about them catching on the mail sorter. So there you go. Now the last touch on this, again, is a little bit of wink because, you know, every hibiscus blossom should shimmer a little. You won't be able to see this, I don't think, on the camera. Wink does not show up especially well on video. You're just going to have to take my word for it. This is going to make things all pretty and shimmery. There we go. Okay, you like that one? Done and done. Oh, you like this one, Jean? I'm glad you like it. Okay, so let me bring back all our projects. So there's 1, 2, and 3. And then I'll show you a couple more because I couldn't just stop at 3. You know how it is. Whoop! I almost just untied my bow. Let's just readjust our loops here. Okay. So I wanted to try coloring the images with Stampin' Blends instead of using the stamps to fill them in. So I did a little bit of masking on this one. I just stamped the flower images on some Post-it notes, sticky notes, and covered them up once I stamped them on my cardstock and then added all my leaves. Okay. And I love the way that that layers. And so I colored them using, I can't even remember, a bunch of, the last layer was Poppy Parade. I think it was Daffodil Delight, Calypso Coral, and Poppy Parade, I think were the colors I used for my flowers. And then the leaves are Lemon Lime Twist. I wanted a real pop of yellow green. So there it is. And then I did a little bit more on the inside as well. And then I think this is my very favorite card with this. I seriously considered showing you this one in today's video, but it takes a long time to color the flowers, so I opted not to. So these flowers actually started out as the same yellow as these. So I had a few kits left over from my card buffet. So I pulled some of the extra flowers out and started playing around. So these are colored using Stampin' Blends. I'll hold it up nice and close so you can see. So I colored on the Lemon Lolly cardstock first with Fleur de Flamingo, light and dark. And then I added, I think, light Melon Mambo. And I just love the depth of color and shading that created. So I just colored the embossed die cut flowers. Okay, it was really, really cool. And I just kept layering color. Now let's talk about the background for a minute. So this is another piece of the Bloom Impressions DSP that I stamped with my beloved Elements of Text stamp. And then again, there is that little texture stamp that we used on the second card. There's one of my arches. Same, again, I was using up bits from the leftover kit. So it's the same arch as here, but I turned it on its side and then just die cut a few additional flowers. Okay. Oh, you want me to do a demo? Okay, I will do my best, Heather. I was thinking you'd want to see it. I will, yeah, let me see if I can do a quick reel with it because then I can speed up the coloring because it does take a little bit of time to layer all that color, but it is worth the effort. Okay. All right. There you go. Hope you all are feeling the tropical sun shining on this cold, wintry, bitter day here in North America. Thank you for joining me today, everyone. I'm just going to get back to me so I can say a proper goodbye to all of you. There we go. Thanks for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed these projects. I hope you're feeling the warmth of our imaginary beach walk. It'll have to do because I am not traveling anywhere warm anytime soon. So thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed these projects, and I will see you again next week for another episode of Tuesday Live at 5. Bye for now.